jungle, lion in the concrete jungle, lion in the jungle, lion in the concrete, yeah.
And now, them boys are back.
It's been a long time, man.
Feels like it's been fucking forever.
It has been.
Fuck, man, but we made it back.
Everybody at home is looking like something's different.
A little bit different.
Can't quite put my finger on it.
We're in the new studio.
Something just looks different. It's a new spot, man.
New spot.
Paid for in cash.
Well,
Cash.
yeah, not by me, but the bank. That shit is cash.
Hey.
And then-
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
It's a new
Clankety
spot.
clank.
Don't know if y'all can see this.
You can hear it.
Steel
Look
ice
right
cubes.
behind you. You got that Stop the Ship logo on the wall.
And it's only going to keep growing.
And this is what we dreamt into reality.
McGregor, baby.
So this set is going to keep coming together. Right now, this is all we got. We got the logo. We got the same, chairs as before. We're going to keep this for a little while.
It's going to keep growing, man.
Fuck, man. It feels great to
It's
be back.
probably been like a month, if not longer. Maybe 2 months.
Since recording? Yeah, it's a month
Since-
and a half, 2 months.
Since we've even gotten together. It feels like.
Yeah.
Feels good, man.
We just move each other out.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, we spent all day moving boxes, bro.
But I mean, that's basically what we've been doing. Is I just moved into my place. You just moved into your place.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
busy.
it's been a big transition process. We both moved simultaneously. Then we got the studio, paid for in cash,
Paid for in cash.
and
Thanks to you guys buying them Stop the Ship mugs.
Yeah,
Somebody
Every-
actually came up to me the other day asking me, like, yo, when are you going to start selling them Stop the Ship mugs?
yeah,
I was like, first of all, that's hilarious that you listen. Second of all, we coming soon.
yeah, along with some other ideas as well.
Some other accoutrement.
See, this one right here doesn't have the white outlines.
Yeah, that's
No
true.
white outline up there. See, we're slacking, bro. See, this is old stuff. You might be looking at this on the table a little jealous, right? It's understandable. I don't blame you. I don't be jealous though, right? That's okay. But you might be a little jealous. Listen, this is old stuff. New stuff is in the works.
It's in the works.
This isn't even the original, or the current logo, I should say.
And I can't wait, man. Can't wait to keep building, growing, outside of this podcast in our personal life with this podcast. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good things on the horizon. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
Anything new? What's been going on with
Yeah,
you,
man.
man? So I know you're at the new place. How's
I'm at
that
the new
been?
place. New place is dope, man.
If you haven't seen on Nurse Bass, you showed like a little bit of your setup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is fire,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah, I
saw
got-
that today. That shit looks.
I got my
clean
setup in
as
the
fuck.
computer room. Got my monitors, all my shit set up, except for my set. I've still got to work on a set. But
Yeah.
other than that, the house is cool, man. Got my own space now, which is nice.
I'm sure that's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, doing my thing on the job. New position on my own now.
Yeah, where were we at?
These
with
nose
that
hairs are the worst.
last time. Yo, I just be plucking them sometimes.
I just bought a little buzzer. Works
The
pretty
buzzer works pretty good, but sometimes I just feel like just be a man, just fucking rip it.
good. Sometimes the buzzer gets clogged up.
Yeah, and then you got like loose hairs. But I've been at work dude, no lie. Sometimes I get some boogers that get caught up on the hairs. So I just yank the whole fucking hair out. No more booger or hair.
Just pull it all out.
I'm just pulling it all out.
You know what, man? I was yanking the hairs myself. I was doing a little pluck action.
You were making me feel like.
And I'm
that's
getting
good.
recurring, like the nose gets inflamed. The hair follicle that I pulled out, it keeps happening. So I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Coconut oil, bro. For all your household needs.
You got some ashy elbows,
Coconut oil.
you know? The fucking door hinge just won't stop waking you up at 2 a.m. when you got the...
Coconut oil. Which brings us to our next sponsor. Nah.
Calculated segue.
But pretty soon we're gonna get that coconut oil sponsor. We've been working on it for a while. It's gonna come in.
This feels good. It feels good. Like we can stretch out.
It's
We're
not
all
like
on.
before
We're all
we
on
were like
camera
this.
too. Yeah, like before we were just to get.
This is how we would record.
We had a photo shoot, right, with our top photographer who's now on our team, and I caught myself just instinctively like leaning
staring at her eyes.
instinctively, and now I can just relax. I can sit normally.
I'm still leaning.
Because that's the kind of shit you
I think we just did it too many times that the chair, like,
now
kind
the
of
chair's
leans.
on a lean. You go in for a checkup at like 55 years old, and like your spine, you got just from leaning over so much.
Speaking of a checkup, so I know last time we talked, your boy had that high cholesterol. You remember?
Yeah,
Your boy was dying. So we got some health updates for your boy.
Oh shit!
Sticking to a strict diet. Your boy got his cholesterol down like 50 points.
Yeah, man.
I keep saying points because I don't know how else to say 50 numbers.
50 points is sufficient.
So
Your LDL.
your boy's back in that good cholesterol range. You know what I'm saying?
Which must feel good.
Which feels pretty good. But I got them 2 valves instead of them 3 valves. So
Well, they don't know about that.
yeah, my heart, my aortic valve, supposed to have 3 valves. Your boy Nurse Bass has been slacking on
three leaflets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, this guy knows.
I ain't slacking on shit.
3 leaflets. I only got 2. I got some drainage in my heart. Can't be good.
I got some drainage
But
in my
we're gonna
heart.
keep checking it year after year. It's kind of more of a common.
He's like this kind of guy that exaggerates the condition. Like, dude, knocking on death's door.
Hey, I might be. You don't want.
GoFundMe. Link in the description.
Great idea. Hell yeah. I can feel it now.
You see? That's what I'm saying.
Nah, but I've been eating better for a while now. I feel a lot better. My energy's been better. Now the next thing I gotta implement. Shout out to my boy Glenn, because he was so right when he said it. Like, look, I know you're being on that diet, and that's great. That's important. But exercise will get you a long way. And I know you're right. So that's my next step. Get that exercise in.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Peg Leg just hit me up like 2 days ago, and he was like, "So when are we gonna start working out?" And I told him 2 weeks when I get paid again.
Fuck yeah.
We're gonna go get the membership. He's already got one.
That's what it's about.
It is
just
important.
fucking being active. Being a little active.
Yeah, getting moving.
You know what I can't wait for on this podcast is once we start getting the Nurse Bass health updates.
The Nurse Bass.
Because that's gonna come soon, guys. I promise you. I'm gonna start chiseling this big guy down. Get him on his stuff. I didn't have insurance for years and years. I've been to a cardiologist. I've been to a pulmonologist.
That's awesome.
I have a general practitioner, which I never had in my life.
Yeah, you should be happy about all that, man. That's great.
Dude, it's like reassuring
wonderful.
because I'm like a hypochondriac, and that shit really leads to a lot of my stress.
Yeah, sure.
And it just fills my brain and makes me. I know I bug myself out most of the time for no reason. Like, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm relatively active.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's like a good paranoia, but it also, you don't need to be stressed out about that shit.
True. Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, that's the next step for me is start working on you.
Start working on me?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Focus on yourself.
I'm going to be that annoying guy. We already talked about it.
Don't be that guy. This podcast it'll be a short-lived thing.
No, it won't.
That's episode 19, guys.
We need that uncomfortableness in our relationship. It's exactly what you preach, bro. Is that to these fuckers out here listening?
Yeah.
You matter.
Yeah.
And you matter.
I agree.
You matter.
I agree. Yeah.
And we can't have them Nurse Bass videos if you be dropping dead.
Hey, man.
I mean, we could set you up like Weekend at Bernie's. Put some shades on those eyes instead of the follicles you got now.
Follicles.
Yeah, I'm just throwing anything out there now. Fuck, it feels good to be back, bro.
I know, man. It does. Let's cheers it up again, bro.
Let's cheers it one more
With
again.
these steel ice cubes.
With them stop the steals. Some good old whiskey.
Shout out to McGregor again
Hell yeah, bro.
for the Perupu. The Perupu 12. Oh man, it feels good.
So what else? What else? There has to be some.
What else?
There has to be some things that have happened. How was your Christmas?
Christmas was good, man. I was off, which was nice.
That's great.
You know, usually hospital work, you work holidays because you never close. I got off, so that was cool.
That's something that a lot of people don't think about during the holidays. Is like, you know, there's only a few amount of people that work.
Yeah.
Like most restaurants and stuff are closed. Any kind of labor.
True.
Like the plumbers, all those guys are at home chilling. But nurses,
yeah, healthcare, first responders, law enforcement,
hell yeah.
all that.
So shout out to them.
Military.
Yep.
That's crazy. It's really crazy. I've thought about that before. It's like first responders, healthcare, people who do have to care for others. Like there is a sacrifice there, but man, I think about the military, and then it's just like
That's the ultimate sacrifice.
It's hard to put into words.
Yeah, and we missed it. But happy Veterans Day, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, all
What
of
else
those.
did we miss?
Damn, bro, we've been gone for a minute.
We've been gone for a minute, man.
It feels damn good to be
My
back.
daddy's birthday passed. It don't matter no more. But we about to. This is a New Year's podcast.
This is technically a New Year's podcast.
You guys will see it a little bit after New Year's.
We're like 12 minutes in, and they're like, "Oh, they're just now announcing it's a New Year's podcast." That's how disconnected we are.
But that's now that we got the new studio, we're settled in. I'm not gonna make any promises, but we're definitely gonna be back on our shit.
Yeah, I'm making no promises, bro.
No promises, but we're gonna be back on our shit, and pretty soon it's gonna get back to that weekly drops.
This is a nice spot, man. I mean, the spot before was good. This is just an added level of comfortability, man.
Hell
And
yeah.
this right here, like, okay, so this is something that he dreamed into fruition.
Hell yeah.
Shout
out to Glenn.
Shout out to Mr. Noonan. We're gonna have the shelves.
Angie.
Oh yeah, don't forget G, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna put some more stuff in there, some memorabilia, some things that kind of make us us. So I'm excited for where all this starts to go. Fucking, I moved into the new house. Fucking learned how to rip up some carpet.
Yeah.
Ripped up the fucking countertops. I didn't put the new ones in, but
But you got in on that demo.
yeah, I put some elbow grease into that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And to be where I'm at in my life, to be in a house that's mine. I've never lived in a house that's mine. My parents always rented. I've always rented.
Mm-hmm.
So to be in something that's mine, it's like a pretty crazy moment for me.
Oh, I bet. Man.
And I've been trying to take it in, and I'm super grateful for just the opportunity to fucking be here. Like we got our own fucking studio.
True.
Like, and I just been thinking real deep lately.
Yeah.
I've been like, to be honest, I've been super up and down, like high and low. And we always talk about like riding the waves,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't been there. I haven't been in the middle.
Gotcha.
It's been high and low. And I think maybe a part of it is like, not being able to get on here and vent like we were starting to do.
Sure.
And just been a lot of stuff like, good things are happening, but there's also like a few bad things that are happening.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to balance all them out, and my mom's still going through some of her health struggles, and just the uncertainty of that is like, it's always on the back of my mind, and I'm not trying to think of like horrible scenarios, because who knows, everything could be okay.
Right.
But so I've kind of struggled a little bit lately.
I would imagine, yeah.
Just that up and down shit.
Yeah, it's like we talked before about how, it seems like whenever you have really good things going on in your life, bad things happen as well. It's this odd balance that occurs in life. And I mean, for us to be subjected to it, like we don't have any control over it, and now we're subjected to it. And yeah, I mean, how do you maintain balance during that situation? I think it just makes sense that you would have your highs and your lows.
Yeah.
You're just subjected to it. You have no control over it. It's like, well, fuck, you're riding the waves. You're out in the ocean. You're subjected to the current.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All you can do is go with it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to like roll with the punches. I know I'm fine and I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
All I could be in control of is myself. So the other influences that happen, like they matter and they manipulate thoughts at times, but I'm just trying to stay to my core of just like, look at what I have right now.
Good.
Be grateful. Like being grateful, I think, is a huge part of growth, because you have to be humble in order to move forward and know where you came from.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've been down here a year and a half.
Right.
Right.
Gratitude, 100%.
Yeah. And
always.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to like getting back into the podcast and like releasing like some of the pent up energy I have, be it like creative energy or just like, energy to vent and be surrounded by people who, are part of this community that we're trying to build.
Right.
So yeah, we're back at it.
Yeah, man. That's good, man.
Yeah, it's just a little update of where your boy's been at.
You'll keep riding that wave.
We were talking before the podcast, and I think it was pretty cool how you were saying how you just started back in the. Is it the same position that you had before?
Yeah, ICU.
Yeah, you're in the ICU.
CV ICU.
And like talk about your first day or second day.
You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean that's like.
I'm gonna keep chiseling away at him.
What?
So I was telling him.
I think it's a big part of you.
So I got some nurse bass folk out there watching, but for those of you who don't know, I guess, about my nursing side, I was originally, whenever I first graduated nursing school, I started working in a CVICU, cardiovascular ICU. We would recover the fresh open heart patients after surgery. And I love that stuff. I love the physiology of it all the medications that go along with it, everything. But my mom passed away. I had my son. My dad passed away. And like they both passed away from bad, like overdoses, man. And so going back into the ICU every night and working nights was horrible, and having to leave my family and my son, and it's like that's all that I'm clinging on to is my family at that point. So anyway, I bounced from the ICU and I went to the OR. That didn't work out. I've kind of got like a renewed energy. The switches flipped. Episode that we've made. And I decided that I wanted to go back into the ICU, and now I'm in the ICU, and I'm now working on my own. So my first day that I just had, which was like 2 days ago, ended up getting a patient, and I'm going to keep it very vague, of course.
Yeah.
Ended up getting a patient for one reason or another. They're on life support, and the decision ends up getting made to terminally extubate, which means to withdraw. Layman's term is pull the plug.
Yeah.
To terminally extubate is to withdraw life support. And it's the exact same decision that I had to make for my mother. I was the person calling the shots and making the decision. Then I had to make the decision to terminally extubate. And I witnessed my mom pass. And so this is my very first day. Well, that's technically my second day. It's the same patient. But my second day, I have to terminally extubate this patient. And for me, it felt like God. Like it's a bit morbid, I suppose, but it felt like God's humor almost. It's like this is what I had been through personally. I don't know. It's like this is what I had been through personally, and now, of course, on my first and second day, on my own again, this is the kind of patient that I have to care for. And but what was so interesting about it was that, and I just made an Instagram post about it. I'll get Peg to link the picture on it because your boy's looking fresh in that red shirt. But it's like a night and day difference from where I was 2 years ago whenever I was first in the ICU. It's like now I feel renewed and re-energized, and like the fact that I had to care for that patient, I was completely not touched emotionally by it. As far as like the connection to my mom, of course I'm connected to the patient, but not to my mom, and I was completely okay. And it's like, dude, I'm so refocused now, and that I got a goal to accomplish. And dude, the whole by any means shit imagery's coming soon. By the way, by any means shit, that's my new thing. Bam, because it don't matter. I'm gonna accomplish these goals. But that's where I'm at, man. Your boy's in the ICU now on my own.
That's awesome, man. And that's why I wanted you to bring it up, because when you told me that, you know, just as your friend, I think that's a huge step for you to be confronted with something so deep.
True. And
then you to, you know, you would have been professional at any point. Done the job. But for it to be able, for you to be able to go home, be okay with it, like, you know, not let it linger.
That's
I think that's so crucial to you and to the new journey that you're back on.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's really cool. When you told me that, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it does feel like growth. It's progress. It's a step forward. And so now I do feel a lot better equipped to do this job, to do it to the standard that I like to do it, but to be able to, maybe I should say, to endure this job. Yeah. Maybe I should say that.
And that's a huge thing that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to those jobs. Like the doctor that's doing that open heart surgery,
right?
Like maybe he just got a divorce,
right?
Maybe he just lost like one of his parents, and he's got to come in and focus and leave that behind.
Yeah,
and
right.
To do that is so hard. Everybody, even, you know, if you have like a minuscule job and like something with not as much responsibility, a lot of people still bring in their like life into that job.
So listen, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I was just thinking the other day that actually it was last night, I like was just freestyling a speech. I'm thinking about how we're all still subjected to life. Like we have jobs to do, we have duties, and you know, I was going to be thinking along the lines of caregivers. Like our job is to care for another person. But we're not immune to life. Life isn't prejudice, right? So we're all going to be subjected to it. And I was considering, so, you know, NRSNG is now becoming nursing.com.
Which is huge.
Which is massive.
That's so cool, man.
So I was tentatively considering, shout out to John Halls. I was tentatively considering doing my speech on depression in healthcare. Or maybe not depression, but I don't know, like mental health in healthcare, sure, something like that. But focused on us, focused on the caregivers, and just like shedding some light on my own personal story.
Think about how many people could relate to that.
And most importantly, because that's not ever talked about.
Never.
In nursing school, and like that, and
in any kind of school.
Yeah. But
there's these fundamental things that were missed out on in our developmental stage. Like there was things that there were tools that we weren't given, that maybe some people were given, that came from like good places and stuff like that we weren't given, that we just had to learn and adapt to. And you know, I pride myself in being very adaptable, but I wish that I was educated on certain things instead of having to adapt to them. Right. And that could be relatable in every single occupation. Yeah. Is like the stuff that you go through at home. And some people can manage it and like leave it at home, but some people bring it into work, and you know, they may not be bad people or anything like that, but it just leaves a strain on your life. It's like a weight holding you down, you know? And I stop the shit. And I think that's the whole new thing that's happening, is like we're afforded that ability to start to think about why we do the things we do, and we are the way we are. And And that's what people are starting to really think about and focus on. Like me particularly in my own life, that is something that I think about and focus on, is like, where am I at mentally? And, you know, like, it's like, I call it to myself, like, G-checking myself. Like, if somebody, like, were to, like, one of my good friends were to, like, push me in the chest and be like, yo, what's going on? Like, no bullshit. Don't give me small talk. Like, what the fuck is the matter? You know?
Right.
And sometimes that's what you need. Like, you know, there's people that, like, you work with or friends or family members that you get into, like, these conflicts, but they're not real conflicts because they're only in your head and they're only in their head. Mm-hmm. There's never been no talk about what it is that you think is wrong and what they think is wrong. And all that needs to be done is just a conversation. Mm-hmm. Because, like, you know, when it comes to family or friends, like, you love these people. Like, why is there this built up thing that we've both built up, and we're probably both wrong in our own way? And I'm not preaching, like,
it happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm still a part of it.
I'm witnessing it this week, so it's funny you're talking about it. Yeah,
I'm still a part of it too. Like, you know, for Christmas, I wanted to reach out to my grandma. Like, and I hadn't talked to her in a long time, and you know, I love her. Like, you know, we've been through, like, some real deep moments, me and her.
You trying to G-check your grandma?
No, G-check myself.
Oh, shit, okay.
No, yeah, I'm not going to G-check her. And, like, it's like what I was saying before, is all you can control is yourself.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to a lot of these things, like a lack of communication and stuff. I don't know why I got on that, but yeah, that leads to conflict. Like, you know, when you're in work, like these things that you're going through. Maybe it's with a coworker that you have something, and if you just had a conversation about, like, where you are at and why you're feeling, like, everybody will understand. Oh, he's not mad at this or this. Like, he's just a little agitated because he's going through something personally.
Right.
Just that open communication, you know, it can fix a lot of shit. So that's what I've been working on for a while, is, like, be better at being open, because I held everything in for so long.
Yeah.
I held everything so close and, like, fucking put that stiff arm out that you used to do to me, like,
Heisman Trophy, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And it don't help nobody doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the same thing this week. It's like, it's a lot easier said than done, you know, to be open and have those conversations. But, like, a lot of times in these relationships that you have with other people, there is a little bit of a distance that's kept between you and that other person. Like, I feel like me and a couple of other people in my life, I am able to have a level of transparency to where the line of communication could be wide open and clear.
Yeah.
And I can just truly be myself. But with many people, you do keep a distance. Yeah. There's just a bubble that you keep around yourself. And then it leads to miscommunication, or you're sitting there thinking about, why is this person feeling the way they are, and vice versa. And it's like, and I was giving advice to somebody, and I was just like, it's so much easier said than done. But if you could truly sit down with the other person and be like, listen, again, cut all the facade out, all the fakeness. Listen, what is the problem?
Put it on the table.
What we need to have a conversation. Yeah. I don't want any more smiling or fronting like everything's okay. We need to have a conversation, because,
and
like,
the two parties need to be open and to
willing.
Listening.
Yeah,
because the defensiveness can, like, lead to a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's got to be at the heart of it. It's got to be, you know, have good intentions. Like, I really want to know. I want to clear up any confusion.
Yeah,
I want this to be a healthy and productive relationship moving forward.
Yeah, it's such an important thing. I mean, you know, even with me, I know that I'm just, like, a sensitive person, and it's hard because people take things personal. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to ingrain it into my head that no matter what happens, like, it's never personal.
Right.
It's always within the individual. It's always within that personal. It's not something I did. It's something they're going through.
Sure. Yeah.
It's something I'm going through. And it's so hard not to take things personal, especially if you're, like, competitive and you're trying to better yourself, and, like, someone may slight you or something like that.
Right.
You know, it's really hard to not take things personal, but I'm aware that I can be sensitive. I'm aware that sometimes I do take things personal, and in those moments I'm just like in it, and I'm fucking frustrated,
Right.
and I'm like mad, but I'm trying to get through those situations and being like, dude, it's not personal. Like,
Yeah. It's humanistic of us. It's just a side effect of us.
Everyone keeps saying that, like, when you talk about like things that we go through and conflict and stuff like that, and that you're 100% right. Like, it is human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something you're born with. You don't have control over that.
But
I mean, you do. You do, right?
Like, and you can. It's like the tool belt we talk about.
Yeah.
And you can enhance that and have those tools to where, like, 2 years ago you would have taken offense to that.
Right.
But
now you got that level 3 body armor.
You got that level 3.
You done upgraded it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's controllable. You can control it, but it's something we have to actively work against.
Yeah. And for me, that's the goal of life, is like, try to be okay, try to be happy, enjoy the time that you got, and not let this other fake shit, which is like, jealousy, envy, fucking any bad emotion that you could throw into there. Like, just try to shed that shit and, be okay.
Right.
So.
Yep. Yeah. That was the answer to what is the purpose of life.
Yeah, and everyone has a different one.
No, but I mean, that's a pretty good one there. Just try and be happy and live a life that makes you happy.
Because we all gonna go.
Act accordingly.
Yeah.
So rarely do I get a chance to throw that one out there. It's a movie reference from...
I've heard you say it like 3 times.
Go fuck yourself.
You saw The Irishman?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. I heard it was great. If you can, like...
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
Good.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty good. I gotta check it out. You probably never saw the show, but it's a show called Billy on the Street. Dude, that shit is so fucking hilarious. It's this, like, gay comedian who just walks the streets of New York and interviews people, and he's such, like, a dick, and he can get away with...
I have seen that.
You have seen it? Dude, he's so fucking funny, bro.
Damn, dude, that's back in the day, it feels like. When did you say it was?
Well, he's still, like, his last season was maybe, like, 4 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just love watching comedy, man. Mm-hmm. That like takes me into like a whole new world of it's just like my sanctuary.
Yeah.
And I even heard on a podcast today, like they were talking about like what the guy was talking about, what he enjoys of like grabbing a beer, watching a football game. And when I think about what I enjoy, because I fucking love football, but my attention span is so quick now because of like, not only do I watch podcasts, but I watch like best of podcasts. So it's like all the best shit, like right there.
Right.
So when I think about watching a whole football game, I'm like, fuck, it's kind of like there's a lot of lag to a football game, which is probably part of my like fucking ADHD or something where I just gotta like have that like full flush of constant entertainment, like constant stimulation.
That's instant gratification times 100. Yeah. You want it now and you at all times.
Yeah, so that's also something I'm aware of, and like I know I need to think about before.
Maybe that's also contributing to your highs and lows as well.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe wanting things a certain way and not getting them or not having them.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times I call myself out by myself of like practice what you preach, bro. Mm-hmm. Like enjoy the journey. We talked about it on here before, and I gave Cody the same advice when he got his place. Like, don't let the stress of this and this and this like bog you down. Look at what you just accomplished.
Sure, yeah.
So I think about that. I'm like, fuck, Shane, you said that. Like, are you gonna do it?
Right.
Like. And then that stress. No.
You like constantly G-checking yourself every day.
Well, dude, that's exactly what I do. And like,
and all you're doing is sharpening yourself. And
even being with like a woman who's like strong-willed, then she'll call me out on my shit. Like if that's something I say all the time, and I don't necessarily do it, she'll be like, well, what the fuck, that's what you say.
Right.
And for me, somebody who likes to G-check myself, and like, I'll never be stuck in my ways, like forever. Not saying that I'll be perfect and I'll improve everything tomorrow,
Right.
but like, it'll always be a focus to try to be better.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is, why I wanted to bring the thing up to you about like, you matter.
Yeah.
Like, because that is what you preach.
Yeah.
So
True.
in our friendship, I want that to be a thing that like, because I was there years ago where I was like so nervous about like what could be and stuff like that I just like shied away from it and didn't worry about it. That's like the Irish way of thinking, like fucking push that shit down. That's what I did my whole life. That's why I feel like, that's why I felt at those times of like my early 20s and shit that like, no, I'm all right. Like nothing's wrong. Like everything's okay. Is because like I just pushed that shit down, and it came out in other ways that I didn't realize.
Yeah, Irish fuck.
Yeah, I am Irish as fuck, bro.
You a part of the Dead Rabbits?
Nah. What's that?
Damn it, Shane.
What is
It's
it?
the Gangs of New York.
Oh.
Filmed by Martin Scorsese.
There's a big Irish mafia gang that used to be called the Westies. I actually read part of a book about it. And that is my last name, and it was an Irish gang.
Are you sure that wasn't like my love story situation?
No, it wasn't. You're throwing yourself under the bus, bro. I gave you a fucking gem.
First of all,
that would be a great sponsor.
First of all, it could have been a thing.
What?
Mike might have got a little customized thing called the Westies.
Oh, you know it's something I've wanted to talk to you about that we haven't done a podcast in so long, so I haven't been able to. With Montana, like talking about like some of my past and things that I've gone through and shit like that, and telling her about my dad and stuff like that, like. As a young kid, your parents frame your world, so you just think those things, that's life. That's what's normal.
Right.
I'm coming to think about like some of the experiences I had with my dad. Like I think in some ways he had like forms of mental illness.
Okay.
Where he may have been like bipolar or something, where he did things that was like weird for a person to do to their kid. Like, sometimes he would like scare me, but not in the sense of like, trying to like, you come around the corner like boo, or like something like that. Like he would do like kind of like maniacal things that I thought was like normal, but when you verbalize them to people, it's like
what?
Like I've told you the
centipede.
Well, no, I mean I think that's kind of normal.
Okay.
But maybe that's one of them too.
Okay.
But like the Shining thing, like how he had my aunt call.
Oh yeah.
And like, but there was also this thing that I told Montana about that I've never told anybody about, but it's like it's been in my brain forever. Was like, my dad was an alcoholic. And so one time he was like withdrawing from alcohol. So he sat me down and he told me, he's like, all right, like I may say some things in my sleep that are a little crazy. So I just thought like that was normal. And then, I was laying down in bed and I hear him talking like from his bedroom. And he's saying like a bunch of weird things, and I don't remember what he was saying, but it was just kind of like freaking me out. I was like 9 years old. And then there's one thing that he said that like, I doubt for like listeners or anything, like people can like relate because it's just weird. But he was talking very loud, almost like screaming. And he was like, the one thing he said, he's like, Aunt Tracy, that's his sister, that's my aunt. He goes, Aunt Tracy, funeral home. And he said that, and it freaked me out, and I started screaming. And then he came into the room and like checked if I was okay, and I was just like freaked the fuck out, and I was like, why would you say that? What do you mean?
Was he asleep when he said it?
He framed this whole scenario like, all right, like, I haven't done this in a while. Maybe I may say some things that like aren't normal, but it's like, was he really asleep saying those things, or was he saying those things to try to like fuck with me?
I see.
And there was just like subtle things like that happened throughout my life that I like normalized them, but then when I say them out loud, like somebody's like,
You're like, maybe
that
not
doesn't
so
sound
much.
normal.
Right.
Like, even me, I'm like, that doesn't sound normal.
Mm-hmm.
So when I like kind of add up a lot of things, and then the whole like thing about how my dad died, and the aftermath of it, and what happened before, and it's just something I've been thinking about that I put away forever because I'm that Irish, like, I'm good, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's like just from knowing his life and what he went through, like, he was emotionally unstable. Like, he did have a fucked up life.
Right.
And I was a part of that as a kid. And it's just some shit I've been thinking about and like trying to come to terms with, of like, my life wasn't normal.
Right.
Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he may very well have.
Yeah, and just from like the evidence of what, not looking at it as like a 12-year-old of like, well, this is just who my dad is, this is what he does, but looking at it from what I know now and seeing people that have struggled with mental illness and depression and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like, there was 100% the last year of his life, he was super depressed.
Yeah.
And you're not aware of that. Like, when
Right.
you're there, you're just trying to fucking live and be a kid. So it's just, that's also been something I've been like thinking about as I'm like going through life and like fucking, I don't know, it's just a lot of introspective shit that I've been on.
Yeah, it sounds
lately.
like it.
Yeah, and just trying to like, for me, I've buried a lot of my past. So, I kind of need to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Like, the reason I buried my past was because I wasn't okay. And that was the only way to be okay.
Yeah, that's what you had to
But
do.
now I can go back and I'm not afraid, and I'm not like, it could be sad and stuff, but it's not going to crush me.
Right.
I have that tool belt to where, I can start to sort through some of these things. And, I hope sometime this year that I like, see a therapist and like
Start to unpack some of that shit.
yeah, and just start to like be more vulnerable. I've just held everything tight for so long,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was just talking to Ashley last night, and I told her, I was like, I'd really like to see a therapist soon. I think
that's awesome, man.
because her and I were talking. I don't even really remember what I was talking about. I was just like really opening up and just talking about a lot about emotions, and I was like, it would really be interesting just for the pure exercise of unpacking the bullshit that has just been bottled up for so long and suppressed and repressed, and it would be very beneficial.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, within everybody,
And it does help us progress forward. Like, I don't know, you gain clarity, you gain perspective, and it's like, this is why I am the way I am, or this is why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, and then it helps you better navigate forward.
yeah.
I've never done it, man, but I'd like to do it.
Yeah, I think you would benefit so much from it. Like, there are certain things that we've talked about that you have like a very strong opinion on, that I'm like, I wonder why that opinion is so strong. Is it because of where you come from and what you've learned? And I know you're not like a defensive person. You're like a very open person, and you'll G-check yourself. So I think that would be really interesting for you to see somebody, me to see somebody, anybody to see somebody, because whenever you're very opinionated about something and you're like, no, well, this is what I think about this,
Right.
there's something about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a reason.
Why are you so heavily?
Yeah. And like, you know, a therapist will bring you back to the origin of that. It's like, well, when did you first feel that? Like, what are some of the other feelings that you associate with that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they ask the right questions.
Yeah. I'm excited to go down that avenue.
Me too. And my whole life I was like, you know, I grew up watching The Sopranos, and like seeing a shrink, that's what they called it, was like taboo.
Yeah.
Like everyone like
It's a
was
sign
like
of weakness.
you had to hide it that the mob boss saw a therapist, because if his family knew, they'd be like,
It's a sign
this
of
guy's
weakness.
weak. Yeah, this guy is weak. How could he be a boss?
Right.
But I think it's a sign of strength. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned, is like, because I had that defensiveness towards a therapist of like.
Sure.
And I've talked to people recently too that have that same thing of like, well, no, that's just for crazy people or people who don't know how to handle their shit. And it's like, well, why do you think that? Where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever talked to a therapist? Because if that's your opinion after speaking to a therapist, then you have some credibility.
Right.
But if that's your strong opinion, you never did it. Why is that? Why are you so strong about that?
Foundationless opinion.
Yeah. And that's what we all have, is a bunch of those.
Yeah.
You know?
We do.
So
another humanistic thing.
Fuck yeah. It feels so fucking good to be back here and just like fucking getting this shit out, man.
We're back, brothers and sisters, with another special episode 19 of Stop the Ship. See, I know what y'all were thinking, right? Because I was thinking it too, right?
Damn,
if I'm just having a second, right? I'm like, hey, listen, man, he's been moving. I've been moving. It's been a long hiatus. Like, are we going to get back to it? Because you'll remember, we've talked about it early on. They say in the biz that around episode 20 is when
you sink or swim.
Startups stop. Is when startup podcasts quit, when they give up, when they die out. And here we are at episode 18, and it's like, this dude's ain't dropped a video in 2 months. I even had one subscriber out there. Yeah, you know who you are. Luke.
Damn, Luke.
My dude hit me up like 4 times. He's like, bro, when's the new episode coming out? I was like, hey, man, I don't know. But hey, here we are, man. We're back. And that's why I feel so good. Yeah. Episode 19. Them SS boys.
This has been a good one. We fucking worked hard all day.
Yeah.
Finalized our houses. Isn't that so fucking weird? Like, we moved into the house the same week or two. Yeah. We just finished the last of our storages. We're not paying for storage for each of us.
Right.
And yeah, man, it's so cool to like be on a path with you. Mm-hmm. You know, this is so special and like sacred to me, and I look forward to just like staying at it, G-checking each other, having uncomfortability in our conversations. Like, I think that's one of my favorite things, like, about our relationship at times, even though we really haven't had many. But when we do, it's not like, all right, well, fuck that dude.
Right.
And yeah, our what we want from each other is for the other person to be better than they were a week ago.
Yep.
So there's so much value in that. There's so much value in this.
This episode is gonna be called G-check.
Fuck yeah! There's so much value in like in everything around us, and you know, having that, being grateful of what we have, where we are right now, and you know, just one more thing I want to end with is so there's a famous comedian who I look up to, and well, I wouldn't say I look up to him, but I really like him as a comedian. And, you know, he talks about, you know, when he was coming up, when he was 20-something years old, working in a diner, being a waiter, like, being treated like shit. Like, he had these goals and these dreams of, like, being a comedian and having, like, a beautiful girl and, you know, making a lot of money and owning a house. And, like, that's everything he ever wished for, you know? And he was depressed because he didn't have those things. Fast forward 20 years later, he's got the beautiful girl. He's got 2 houses. He's got he's a huge comedian. He's
Yeah.
got what he wished for, and he remembers that exact moment where he was when he wished for that, and somehow he still feels the same feelings and depression and stuff that he felt sitting outside that diner.
Oh yeah,
You
like
know?
it brings those feelings back. You're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, just in general, he feels those same feelings of I'm not enough. I need to get here.
Oh, is that right? Even
Yeah.
though he's accomplished success.
Yeah, even though he's
I gotcha.
accomplished everything
Yeah.
he ever dreamed of, and he has everything that he ever dreamed of, and it's just a reminder to me that these end goals, all these things that you want, aren't gonna make you feel what you think they're gonna make you feel.
For sure.
The groundwork is in right now how you feel, and
Yeah.
and trying to be okay.
Yeah, 100%. We're insatiable. We're the thirst cannot be quenched. We're always wanting more.
But it can be quenched with the tools to being okay and working through your past
Right.
and not fully, not being perfect, but you can, you're not gonna fill any hole that you have through your professional life or through your relationship or through money. You have to work on that stuff with a therapist or within you, and to talk to your friends and open up. You'll still feel the same emptiness you feel even after you accomplish everything. So anyways, my point is, stay focused on your goals, keep progressing and moving forward, but also remember that unless you're okay with yourself, nothing that you gain and attain will make you feel okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to be okay with you, your circumstances, where you come from, who you're surrounded by, and that's the only real thing that's going to help.
100%.
That $100 million isn't going to help. That fucking dream job that you want isn't going to... it'll help, but it's
Right.
not going to fix it.
Right.
You need to fix it within you, and we'll never be perfect, but it's just something to think about and always keep in your back pocket of this needs to be the goal. The goal needs to be happiness. How can I get there?
Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%. Episode 19, man.
Fuck yeah, bro. I don't got any whiskey left. Maybe a drop. Cheers, everybody. Subscribe to this bitch.
Lying in the jungle.